Hey everybody. Sorry I haven't posted for a while. I think I missed a week, but and again, it's that time of year. It's that time of year where I've got to set aside the comic book stuff that I want to work on, specifically when I'm talking to you guys, and I have to work on these commissions. So, John, I will be working once the holiday season is over. I'll be back to doing videos showing your stuff that I'm working on. But right now, I just like this piece here. I I don't have a choice. I have to have this piece done uh, by Tuesday night, and then the next piece that I have, which is it's it's two sons and the mother, so it's three heads. So when you look at it, it's like basically almost like three commissions. I have to have that done in 2.5 weeks. I have to have that done by the 24th. So it's just I have to get this stuff done. So you guys are seeing now here. I'll work all the way over here at the edge, so you can see how much has been done, but also you can see how much still needs to be done. So these little puppy dogs, I gotta get them done. In fact, the one piece, it's all but done. The client, I know she and her husband will be in today, so I'm gonna have them take a look at it before I finish it, so they can uh, tell me what corrections need to be made. And then this one here, she will be in later today, so she can see it. And again, so she can make some corrections before I uh, finish the whole thing up. So, but right now for this video, you're just going to see me putting in the dots in this light areas. In fact, uh, once I start like talking about comic books and everything, I'm going to be flipping this page upside down and working on it because that way it's easier for me. So, but so, but no, we're getting towards the end of the year, and that means we're getting to the end of 365 days of signed comics for 2025. I've already taken a look at doing signed comics for 2026. For 2026, it's going to be all Star Wars and all GI Joe. And right now, as it comes, I have 354 354, 359. I got to double check my math and double check what I have listed. But right now, if I'm correct, it's 359, which means I'm short. So, but there's two shows this year, specifically at the beginning of the year, that I have the opportunity. I know to get like two books signed, and then if I can get the last uh, like 5 or 6 books signed uh, at another show, which I think I might be able to, then I'll have all 365 days taken care of. I've already thought about it. If I do come up short, I do have some other like sci-fi related books that I can have signed to show you guys. So those might get tacked on at the end of the year. Another thing I might also do is next year is like I told you guys how like I took 3 weeks to do Justice League of America or Justice League, and how I only done like four Avengers, and I've got a lot of Avengers I'd love to show you guys. So I might periodically throughout the year do like do the posting of Star Wars, but then also do another posting that day or that whole week or 2 weeks of the Avengers or Amalgamation or whatever. So you might get like days where you're in multiple postings on X for books that I've had signed because I do enjoy showing you guys that stuff. And it's funny how like some people, it depends on what the title is, and it depends who the artist is as to how many people view it. So, for instance, uh, I get more traction like when I was showing you the stuff that's signed by John Byrne, and like some of those other guys that are like legends in the industry. Uh, and then also so like some people more people when I was doing the Uncanny X-Men, I was getting more people liking the liking them when I showed that. So, but it all depends what the title is. So today we're starting. It's week 49, and we are at day two-third. I'm sorry, 326, and this is West Coast Avengers #1, signed by Bob Hall. This was actually, yep. When I get done with this video, I want to talk to you about this. Wonderful. Thank okay. You look good in your earmuffs. Okay, so yeah, the client for this book just showed up. So of course you might not have heard her because I got the. She speaks very softly. She's all very very happy. So, but okay, so West Coast Avengers signed by Bob Hall. I got to tell you guys, this is one of those uh, books that this was the book that really got me into the Avengers. Uh, a with at the time I didn't care for the artwork on the Avengers. Plus, also I wasn't crazy about the characters. But when you have a book like this where you have Hawkeye, who I really don't know, for me it's like, okay, this is the Marvel version of Green Arrow, and then I'm looking like, oh, all these headshots are on this cover. Who's going to be joining this team? Oh wow, who are these characters? Who are all these characters? Remember, I didn't know a lot of Marvel other than like who was in the Secret Wars. So for me, I was looking at going, who are all these people? And then when I saw that, and then and like I said, I'm looking at the cover, and it's got like all these characters, and I remember who's this cat character, and open it up and and reading it, and sure enough, Tiger, one of the characters on the cover, I was like, oh wow, she's joining the team. This is so cool. So I was really excited that they put that. It got me excited about the title, and plus also the artwork's very good, with Bob Hall doing the pencils, Brett Breeding doing the inks. It's just artwork is solid, much stronger than at the time the than the team that was doing the Avengers. So then we go from there to day 327, Wolverine. Wolverine number 75. This is where in where he's had the adamantium removed from his bones. And at the end of the issue, we always assumed that they were knives. No, that they were bone uh, covered with uh, metal. And this was one of those deals where it's like, because you could call it a gimmick because it had the hologram on the cover. It was a very point. It was a like a landmark issue, if you will, because we discovered something that was prominent on Wolverine that they would use when they did the origin of him, where he has the bone claws. So I just really enjoyed it, and so to have both Larry Hama and Adam Kubert sign it, and at the time when I had Adam sign it, he had just started doing the Incredible Hulk run after leaving Wolverine. And then from there, we go to Wolverine two. I'm sorry, day 328. Wolverine number 78, signed by Adam Kubert. Which again, what I particularly liked about this was how he utilized the snow and how he drew so much stuff, but then he drew it because they were in the snow. He drew it in such a way that was like he really used the white of the page to really emphasize that, especially when they were doing the blanket, the snow across the faces, and how just that stark white of the background of the paper. It really works because of them using, I guess, what we call it the higher quality paper, the Baxter paper, is one of the things that makes it really work doing for this issue more so than even the John Byrne Snowbird issue. So, and then we go from there to day 329, Wolverine 100, Larry Hama. worked on it, wrote it, and he signed it. This is where Wolverine gets his claws back. And again, I remember the issues leading up to this. Is Adam Kubert had to create a bunch of characters for Larry that were throwaway characters. They're literally there were characters that are being introduced, and within 3 issues they're being killed off. And I remember the teacher I had at the time, Mike Sellers. He had a studio next to Adam and Andy, and so he talked to them a lot. And I remember him saying how it's like how Adam was like frustrated, or I don't know, just laughing at the fact that it's like I'm putting all this effort into creating these characters, and 3 issues later they're killing them. And so, and which I would say, yeah, if you're putting effort into creating a character and giving it a unique, cool look, and then 3 issues later, you're he's being killed. Yeah, I can see where it gets frustrating. So, but and then from there we go to uh, day 330, signed by Dan Fraga. This was one of those books where I got it expecting to see Fraga with that like image style, and no, he didn't. He did not have that image style, which really surprised me. Um, but also, you gotta keep in mind, I think this was also during that era where it's like, okay, Marvel and DC have defeated Image. Image is a shadow of its former self, and artists that had a style that mimicked the Image style weren't getting work, so they had to change their style to get employment. That's funny. So I'd have to talk more to Fraga about that, about this specific issue, which I know in the future I will have the opportunity to talk to him about that. So, and then we go from there to day 331, Wonder Man #1, signed by Jeff Johnson. Jeff Johnson is I discovered him. Now, when I say discovered, I mean like on an online sense, YouTube sense. He was part of that drink and draw club that they did during the pandemic, where they would just get together and they would just talk, shoot the shit, and draw. And it was based on a club that they kind of formed out in California, where they would go to a bar, they would have drinks, but they would just sit around bullshit while they drew. And I remember when I went up to Jeff to sign this issue, I said, hi. I said, my name's Stippling Vaughn, Central PA chapter of the Drink and Draw Club. So, which he kind of laughed at, and so which I do. I just you can see I do all my work at the local dive bar, and you can hear that from the background of all the guys talking, along with Nikki. You can hear that she's just now turned up the music. So you probably noticed that. Which hopefully this mic that I'm using is drowning out that music, so I don't get in trouble with the YouTube gods. Who knows? They're screwing everybody over. They'll probably screw me over for this. And then we go to the last day of this week, which is 332. Wonder Man #9, signed by Jeff Johnson and Bud LaRosa. I had Jeff sign this book the same time I had him sign #1, and Bud, I think like a year or two later, I had him sign this issue also. So again, it's always nice to have uh, when you have the opportunity to get more than one signature on a book. It's always fun. It has, again, when I do that, it has nothing, I mean absolutely, positively nothing to do with the possible value of the book. It all has to do with, oh, this is a cool book. I like this book. If I have the ability to get more than one signature, I'm going to take that opportunity. So, and you'll see that also with Star Wars. Uh, when I get into posting those, there's a lot of books that have multiple signatures, and I created exceptions for that with some people that, well, technically, yes, you did work on it, so therefore you can sign the book. Why? Because it's Star Wars. As again, had nothing to do with the possibility of these books having an increased value over time. It all has to do with if I had never gotten into Star Wars, and if Marvel had not never had the license, I probably never would have uh, gotten into comic books. The only other possibility would have been GI Joe, which again I don't really see it happening if it hadn't been for already so much of a fan of Star Wars. So, guys, I'm basically done with this video. I know it's a short video compared to my normal ones, but I gotta get this stuff done. So this year, we're going to be working on this during the game today. Like I said, I mean, I'm really hoping to uh, get to the point where, like with this guy, I've got to do around the tops of the eyes. Once I get done with the tops of the eyes, the only thing I have to do in this guy here is the eyes. So today, most likely, I'm going to be working primarily on him, getting him done, and then once I get him done, I can do the eyes. I always do. It doesn't matter whether it's a human or a dog. I always do the eyes last because that's where the heart of the drawing is, in my opinion. That's where if you drew, you got to have the eyes 100% right because that's where when you see it on the wall, that's what's going to grab you is the eyes. And it's one of the first things I learned early with doing portraits is you can get stuff wrong, but if you're not right or if you're not spot on 100% correct with the eyes, you're going to be failing as on the portrait. So, guys, you all have a great day. You know I'm having a great day. You also know I'm under the gun. So, yes, my life is stressful. But when life is stressful, you just take it all one dot at a time.